Welcome back, gamers and gentlemen. Hope you're all doing well. Sorry if I sound awful. I've got a really bad cold and I've been fighting it for like 4 days now. But this news is too big to not talk about immediately. Henry Cavill has been edging and blue-balled in the community, for the Warhammer community, for like 2 years straight now. Every time he posts something about Warhammer, it's just his algorithm must be going through the roof because everybody starts talking about it. And today's no different because it's finally revealed, kind of, that Henry Cavill is going to be producing and starring in a Warhammer 40k series on Amazon. Now, the news broke last night, and I think the first people to report on this were the Hollywood Reporter, so we're going to have a look at their article. And it says, Henry Cavill's next play, Warhammer 40,000 series for Amazon. Because obviously Henry Cavill has just dropped from being Superman, which obviously a big shame. And he's recently dropped from The Witcher. So it sounds like he's dropped both of these franchises just to do 40k. Because he's that obsessed with it. The article goes on to say, the streaming giant is in process of closing the rights to a miniature war game. And so you see Henry Cavill in 40k. Henry Cavill may not be donning a red cape, but he does have a cool new gig. The actor who Wednesday officially hung up his Man of Steel cape after Warner Bros. Announced it's going in a new Superman direction, thanks to DC studio heads James Gunn and Peter Safran, is attached to start and executive produce a series adaptation of Warhammer 40,000, the popular science fiction fantasy miniature war game that is set up at Amazon. Amazon is in the final talks for the rights to the game, produced by Games Workshop after months of negotiations and fending off rival companies that also sought the rights. No writers or showrunners are attached, although Vertigo Entertainment is attached and also to executive produce. It's quite interesting. I'm quite surprised that this idea is going to be... I'm surprised and not surprised this idea is going to go with Amazon. Like, Amazon, obviously, whether you love it or hate it, have spent hundreds of millions of pounds on, or dollars, on the latest Lord of the Rings series. So it's clear that Amazon are quite happy to spend a boatload of money to try and make Prime Video a better offer, because currently it's competing with Disney Plus and Netflix, who... Disney Plus have Disney, so they have everything, and Netflix have been around so long that they're just doing so well because everyone's already got it. Although Games Workshop have their own streaming service on Warhammer Plus where they do their own animations, I'm curious to see if we'll ever see any live action series on Warhammer Plus, whether they're just going to sell them out to other larger streaming services and try not to compete with them. Like, they're in a really weird grey area where they're not really competing with the streaming service, but they have their own. So to hear that Amazon are actually in talks of trying to buy Henry Cavill and this series as a whole, or the franchise as a whole, for live action is really, really interesting, and it's going to be only beneficial for Warhammer fans. It's only going to bring it to the more common market, to the wider audience. What they adapt is going to be the main question on everyone's lips, and obviously we don't know anything yet. It's just, it feels like it's an idea. They're trying to find some funding for something, and we'll find out soon enough. Now, there was a lot of talks a year ago or a couple of years ago about Henry Cavill starring in or Netflix, either Henry Cavill starring or Netflix having rights or talking about rights for an Eisenhorn series. Now, Eisenhorn, I've never read it, but I know a lot about it, and a lot of people say it's one of the best series that 40k has ever produced, outside of like Horus Heresy, which is obviously 30k, but as a story, as a self-contained story, it's one of the best that Games Workshop have produced, and it's supposedly very good for non-Warhammer fans to be able to get involved with the 40k series or the 40k setting. So whether that's still going ahead, or if that's the series that's in question right now, we don't know anything. But if that rumor of an Eisenhorn series was true, and Netflix were talking about it, and now Amazon are involved, maybe they are talking about the same series. We don't really know yet. That's just a theory. What do you think down below? But let's read the rest of the article. Warhammer is akin to a Dungeons and Dragons. Dice are involved in playing, but also features intricate miniatures that players can place and move around a model constructed battlefield or world. The most basic. You know what? You could get some random words and jumble them up and throw them out like alphabetic spaghetti and come up with a better description of Warhammer there, but that's okay. Games Workshop in the 1980s made miniatures for D&D and launched the game in 1987. It has grown to become the most popular miniature war game in the world and spawned many imitators. The game's setting is 40,000 years in the future, where things are dark indeed. Human civilization has stopped progressing, as in an unending war with aliens and magical beings, with gods and demons figuring into theological class system. The humans make up the Imperium of Man, who are militaristic. A race of skeleton-like androids are known as the Necron. There's an elvish race known as Eldari, as well as orcs. Tyranids are nasty aliens, the Tara blue-skinned alien race that may offer some hope. So yeah, so a very basic description. Obviously, people who read the Hollywood Report probably don't know what Warhammer is, but us Warhammer nerds know exactly what it is, and we said this is a terrible description and it makes it sound really boring. Cavill is known to be a Warhammer fan and paints figures. Yeah, because every time I post about it on Instagram, 900 accounts share it, and 500 people on YouTube say they're painting an army for Henry Cavill. I mean, we understand, we get it. Because the project is in its early stages, to reiterate, Amazon has yet to close the deal. This is not the next gig for Cavill, who recently announced he was exiting his lead role in Netflix The Witcher. But it is an ambitious move for Amazon and could deliver a show that is epic in scale and combines the big genre elements of sci-fi and fantasy, as well as a host of human and non-human characters. So it's going to be quite interesting. As I said, like, this is a rumor that's come from somewhere. Usually things like this have some weight to them, but like how far along this is, we've got no idea. And that's pretty much all we know. Now, I've looked at other websites such as GameSpot. They're pretty much saying the same thing. We haven't heard anything else. There's no other news about it. It's just lots of people saying the same thing. The only other one that said something was TV Line. Like, they kind of elaborated. Whether this is hearsay or not, we don't really know. But they said the series, which is still in early development with no writers attached yet, springs from the popular board game set 40,000 years in the future where humans are locked in never-ending war. Cavill is reportedly a Warhammer fan and even paints against miniatures figures himself. Amazon is in final talks to lock down the rights to the game after a lengthy bidding war. Now, this line, if true, is interesting, and this might again have some weight to it, talking about the Eisenhorn series that supposedly Netflix were wanting to get involved with. If there's been a lengthy bidding war, that could tell me that multiple streaming services are trying to get to the rights to Warhammer 40k. Or live action Warhammer 40k in particular, and this might have some weight to that theory about Eisenhorn going to Netflix and now potentially Amazon or Prime Video having the rights to Eisenhorn with Henry Cavill as the producer and the star of it. But I don't know. That's just a theory. That's just an idea that we've come up with, that I've come up with, and there seems to be some evidence that could lead to it. But because it's so early in the show, we don't really know where this is going to go, how long it's going to take, whether it happens at all. But that's where I leave the question to you. What do you think? What Warhammer series would you like to see, or Warhammer 40k series would you like to see first? Personally, I think everyone is going to want Henry Cavill to play the Emperor, but I feel like it's either going to be Eisenhorn, because they're the rumors we've heard, or it's going to be something more generic, like a more better, well-done Ultramarines movie, you know? Something that's Warhammer at its heart, has Space Marines, and is quite easy to follow. I don't think it's going to be anything too intense like introducing the Emperor and the Custodes straight away, but I could be proven wrong, and that's where the comments are going to tell me now. So let me know your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching. I love you all, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one.